From topics A to Z via 1, 2, 3, you'll always be fun to me. Your hyper-focus will never be mocked. So let's deep dive on Torin Talks. Hello and welcome to Torin Talks Podcast, where hyper-focusers are exactly enough and never too much. Today, we are talking to BritishSimerTime. I'm so excited. Suze is a fantastic and what I would call chaotic streamer, but very genuine to watch, and she's very lovely and so much fun. And you're never not going to laugh in there. She plays a number of games in Twitch, and I would say a number of genres as well. A lot of testing, simulation games, some like RPG kind of story games as well. It's really cool. And much more, which is what we're gonna dig into today, and I'm so excited. Yay! So Suze, my first question for everybody, just how you doing? How's streams going? How's life?
Yeah. Is that a fair answer? I feel like that's a fair answer. Yeah, life is lifing. Yeah, no. Do you know what? I was literally talking about this the other day, that streams are always the same. Like, I have my little community that are awesome and I love them and they're great. I am just so flaky at the moment on Twitch, and it's not because like I don't want to do it. It's just because pressing the button has just got harder, and I don't know why. Like, when I'm live, I'm the happiest person ever, and then it's like, yeah, but what if I just don't do it for 2 weeks? So yeah, streams are great when I'm there, but I do forgetting to show up. So yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment.
Like, because I totally feel you. It's what I call the activation energy to do it is sometimes so fucking high. It is so high. Yeah. And like, it's not like, I was talking to someone else about this, it's not like putting on a face or anything, you know. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff you don't tell us, which please don't, that would be weird. Be safe out there on the internet, y'all. But like that just feeling of, do I look okay? Not like great, but like, do I, do I have a giant zit just hanging out right here? Muster? Yeah. Like, and like, do I feel like I can laugh today? Like, like there's just not necessarily performance, but a little bit of, there's a certain thing you can't just, well, you can get on stream and just cry your eyes out, but that might be a little weird, and people may not want to engage in that. And if they do, you might want to question what kind of people they are. I don't know.
I mean, I think we both cried on stream, so we might want to be careful.
No, the whole time. Like, just the full depressive.
I was going to say, I have definitely cried on stream. Just to be clear.
Did you see any of my Spiritfarer game?
I mean,
there you go.
I love how you're like, throwback to Spiritfarer, recent Horizon, episode intro. You cried before I even got there. You were like, the counter's on 5, and I was like, you've been live for 20 minutes. What the hell have you been doing? I get it. I played that game, and literally all I played was the intro scene, and was like, well, not today, thank you. And closed the game.
Not today, Satan. I would like to stay normal.
Yeah, I was like, thank you. I haven't hydrated enough. I didn't prep. Crying on stream. And also, I think the thing with me that I've always noticed is, it's like a lesson I refuse to learn, is that I think I have to be a certain way. Like, I'm entertaining and I'm fun and I can't be anything else. Right. But like, nobody that I know within my community has that expectation of me. Like, I'm really lucky. No one's ever come in and be like, oh, you seem sad today or tired today. Because they're just like, whatever mood you're in, Suze, we're here. Like, if you need us to cheer you up, if you're going to cheer up, like, whatever it is. And, like, there's no expectation from them. The only expectation is from me. But it's, like, 5 years of streaming, and I still haven't learned that. It's just the worst thing.
Dagger.
Just right.
Like, same.
Sorry.
No,
just pulling you right out there. Hi, everyone who is a Twitch streamer who just heard that. You know what I'm talking about, because we're all the same.
Yeah, it all started in COVID. We all know it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
so
just
funny, though.
I think it's the same thing. Like, and I used to have this thing, and I think a lot of people have it. It's like, it's sort of, to me, that thing of, you remember, like, when you were a lot younger, I'm old now. You used to be like, oh, I'm only fun when I'm drunk. Like, on nights out, you would never be sober because you were like, well, everyone likes drunk me. And it's like, I have the same energy for stream sometimes. That like, oh, people only like me when I'm filthy and funny and laughing and silly. And it's like, no, we just like you. Like, and like, I'm saying this now to you as though I believe it. I don't, but like, that's what they would say to me. Like, if my community were there and I was like, I'm having a bad day, I didn't go live, they'd be like, why the hell not? Like, we could have been nice to you. We could have cheered you up. You'd have been laughing in 20 minutes. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah.
It's so hard, not necessarily hard to believe. And especially because we've been on Twitch for the same amount of time. It's honestly hard in that way, because then you're like, well, then what do I do? It's hard to have a direction then too, you know? And it's not that we don't believe them, because we do. Obviously they keep showing up for a freaking reason, right? But it's hard for me to cross that barrier of hearing it, understanding they're not lying, and then believe it. And then somehow change and act accordingly to it.
Yeah, it's like the longevity of the belief. Like, you can end a stream believing it, and you're like, I'm so glad I went live today. They so cheered me up. Like, oh my God, why do I ever not go live? This is great. And then you sleep, and all of that learning just went straight out of your brain, and you're like, who am I? Why I cannot possibly go live? Like, oh my God, they're going to hate me today. And it's like, no. But yeah, for like, 6 hours, you learn it. Like, you know, for those glorious 6 hours, you're like, yeah, life's good. And then no. But that's true with everything in life. That's like when you go to work and they're like, yeah, you did a really good job today. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I did do a really good job today. And then you wake up the next morning and you're like, who am I? Why do I think I can do email?
And it's the worst person ever. You know, oh my gosh.
Oh my God. My boss sent me a DM. He's definitely going to fire me today. Like 100%.
Oh no.
So, yeah, I don't think it's like stream exclusive, but I think stream puts the extra pressure on, especially because we're surrounded by people who are very good at what they do.
Yes.
And you can't help but compare yourself. Like, do you know what I mean? So even our friends that are really good friends, you know, like Tar, who has been featured or will be featured. Hey, I don't know what order they're going in. But I watch her streams and I'm like, well, I'll never be that. And it's like, but it's not a competition last time I checked, but like your brain tells you it is. Like that, as I like to call my dick brain, just will 100%. Like that's what we call my, right. So this is
I'm going to ask, please expand upon dick brain. Thank you.
Okay. So basically, I've been told it's really unhealthy, by the way, to do this. So I'm not giving this as advice to anyone, but I learned a long time ago that the best way for me to kind of like deal with the negative shit and the voice in your head that's like, you're not good enough, everyone hates you, blah, 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 is to kind of give it a bit of a persona that it is my dick brain. Like, I don't see it as a separate person to me, but it is a part of my brain that is the dick brain. So when I'm having a bad day, it's not that I'm having a bad day, it's just that dick brain's flaring up. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it gives me the separation I need to be able to like step away and analyze it a bit more logically rather than just being like, this is real. I'm like, well, no, it's just dick brain being dick brain. And I still get caught up in dick brain and it still 100% can overwhelm my mood and change everything. But like when I'm able to, it is a lot easier to be like, nope, that's what dick brain says, but that doesn't mean it's true. Or, you know, and also just to talk to other people about it, like it makes it a bit more fun than to be like, yeah, guys, my depression's kicking my ass today.
Gotcha.
To be like, I'm having a dick brain day. Other people are like, yeah, fucking dick brain. We hate dick brain. Not Suze, we hate that part of you. Or it's like this thing that we can all be cohesively angry at together without feeling like it's some failure on my part, I guess. But yeah, totally also a lot of psychologists really say you should not do that because it's really bad for you to personify the negative thoughts in your head. I mean, so, you know, what works for one person doesn't work for everyone.
Like everything else. And I'm just like, okay, you can't, instructions unclear. I'm so sorry. But now you need to like, it's got to be one or everything. And they're like, yeah, Torin, that might be the problem. And I'm like, no. So maybe. Okay, so here's my confusion during the dick brain. No, I got it at the end. Okay. But I admit I was confused in the beginning because I was like, okay, now wait. Dick as in like that person's a jerk? Or like,
yeah. Like, no, my horny brain's like the whole of the horny brain is not a bad thing. Like we like the horny brain, or like bring me the smut brain. Although I was talking about this the other day, right? And this is I'm about to tell you to keep this secret while we're recording live to go on a podcast. There
we go.
So
do you see your hands clapping? Got it.
Like everyone knows I read smut. Okay, it's my life. I'm not shy about it. I'm open about it.
On your stream.
Yeah.
So.
But I've stopped reading the sex scenes. I read the build up to the sex scenes. I read all the angst and the anticipation and the are they not? When are they going to do it? And then when it actually gets to the sex, I'm like, meh. Now, I don't know whether it's because porn exists. So, you know, why Why have words when you can have visuals? But I used to read the smut, and I used to be quite okay with reading the smut. But now I'm just a bit like, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's just because I'm reading shit books and
well, and I was gonna say, so like this was okay. Random question. This was my problem with things like 50 Shades of Grey. Not because, yeah, I know, but hold on. It's not for what you think. I promise. Okay. It's because of word usage. Like it would be the same word over and over and over again. Like, oh, she whispered. I don't know what it was. It was a long time ago. But like, it wasn't due to the content, though it should have been, because red flags. But also, it was just because the word usage was like a 5th grader level, 4th grade level.
Yes.
It drove me nuts. And so I'm wondering, like, is that maybe like there's only so many ways to describe a dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I will say that I am a writer, but I'm not a published writer. I'm not a qualified writer. Nobody edits my work, but it's also just shit writing in that book. So it surprised me. Like, I am not lying. I got 3 chapters in and DNF'd because that writing style was, I didn't actually know if they'd had an editor. Mm-hmm. And I'm really harshly critical on books. Like, if I read a book that's published, even on Kindle, which I know could be self-published, and there's like more than 5 typos in the first 3 chapters, I'm out. Because like, just get someone to edit your work.
Because I absolutely can agree with this. And like, especially as the flip side of an audiobook narrator, it's some things get real difficult. And by the way, I love audiobook narrating. I love authors. Please do not take this in any other way except for me to say
we're both gonna be like cancelled.
We're canceled now. No authors are ever gonna work with me. No, but like there was one author, and I do love her to death, but one paragraph was a full run-on sentence. The whole paragraph. There was no punctuation.
Let me breathe.
I know. And like, and as a narrator, then I had to add like my own and then try to make it interesting for someone to listen to. So I'm just like, okay, personal challenge. But at the end, I'm also like, I'm so tired. And so there's absolutely something to be said for that. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I am overly critical. And then at the same time, I'll read absolute shit books. But I have like, I like popcorn books. So I read books in a day, right? Or like, I read literally last night, I read 2 books. So I read fast. So I like books that don't have a lot of substance for that. And then I like books with substance for when I want to read slow. And like, those are 2 different people in my head. So I will read books that are shitly written and bad. No, I'll read books that the plot doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. And, you know, they fudge the storyline a little bit. You know, like these 2 people met and hated each other, and then 3 seconds later they're banging in the closet. Like, I'll read them. Like, I don't need character development. It's absolutely fine. But like, if there's typos, I DNF. Like, I'm so weird. Yeah, you didn't develop your plot. Also, I'd just like to point out to everyone listening to the podcast, my hyperfixation is not smut. That is not really what this is about. That wasn't what I was invited to talk about, but oh boy, could I.
I was like, literally, I don't even care if we talk about anything I thought about talking about. No, like, I love this, though, because honestly, I think I just really appreciate this, number one, because you know what you like and what you don't, which I think is a very hard thing for a lot of people to do. I'm raising my hand. I know people can't see it except for if you're watching YouTube version, but I personally feel almost like a personal failure if I don't finish reading a book. Like, I will make myself do it, and it's so stupid. I don't have time for this shit. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Like, I will make myself do it because I'm like, maybe it gets better later.
Yeah.
And then you're just let down. You're like, no, that was bad.
That used to be me. If I started a book, I'd finish a book. If I started a series, I'd finish a series, even if I hated the series. And that can be like, some of these series now are like 10 books long, mate. You are committing to life.
Right.
And then I don't want to say it's just a maturity thing, because I 100% am still an immature bitch. But at some point, I realized that I was actively valuing that author's time over my own. And I was like saying in my head that they've written this book, so I owe it to them to finish it, rather than being like, I owe it to myself to do something I enjoy with that hour or 2 hours of my life.
Yeah.
And at some point my brain switched and I was like, if I am not enjoying myself, walk the fuck away. Like, and it's the same with movies, TV series. I used to commit, like, and my sister, oh my God, my sister made me watch some trash because she will watch anything to the end if she starts it.
Yeah.
And it was a pain in the ass. But I 100% now have become a person who'll be like, nah, I'm not having a good time, mate. I'm out. I'm back. Bye. See you later.
I don't even know if you like hugs. I don't even like hugs, but that's just great.
Yeah,
really
I used to like hugs.
And then the word
It's a
usage
whole
was
thing.
weird, and we're like, nah, get out. Okay. I love that so much. And honestly, though, don't get me wrong, I'm incredibly immature as well. I think anyone that watches my stream, it's obvious. But there's some maturity in that, though, of I need to value my own time. Then I feel like capitalism, the world the way it exists, people just try to make you feel bad because they feel bad. Like, it's a real easy slippery slope. Ayo.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You know what's going to happen. If you do too many of them, you're losing me for the rest of this.
Got it. Do
maybe in a good way, but you know. Hi, my hyperfixation is Torin, and how long until I get her into bed?
Oh
okay, yeah.
I mean, there needs to be at least a plane ride, maybe a boat trip. No, okay.
Yeah.
Though, truly, what I do want to talk about with you is story, and because I mean, we've known each other in like the ecosystem, if you will, like we have some friends of friends kind of thing, and then we haven't had a real chance to really talk, except maybe the last couple of years, right? But
true, yeah,
and like events, and one of the things I kind of just, and this is definitely my autism, but one of the things that I see kind of thread through a lot of what you do is story. And
yeah, I mean, yeah.
And now that I've gotten to know you, it's like, oh yeah, no, that's obvious.
So right,
I was gonna say, what is the love of story there?
Okay, so we'll not do the full trauma dump because hello.
Totally
but
up
I
to
think
you what level
everyone knows that storytelling and telling stories to yourself is a form of escapism. You know what I mean? When the world sucks, we go to stories, we go to movies, we go to books because, the hero gets the happy ending, things work out, everything turns out good. And even when they don't, at least, you get a good story out of it. Because I read a lot of Stephen King growing up and they are not happy endings. I was just thinking back to like my childhood formation books and I was I literally had to get permission from my dad to take out Stephen King at like 11 years old. So 100% did not always get a happy ending. But that's where it came from. I think like when me and my sister were kids, there was only us. We lived on a farm. We didn't have that. We had we had a shit childhood. And we used to. Yeah, no, I know. It was the negotiation with myself. Yeah, like should I hedge this? No, my childhood was questionable and traumatic. And there was just us. We lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere. There was no other kids around, and we had Barbies, and we used to create worlds for our Barbies and. They weren't simple stories. They were, Ken cheated on Barbie and Barbie went on a murder spree to get revenge. Those kind of stories that I think everyone always told with their Barbies, right? That's perfectly normal. But yeah, like I think it started from there. And I think I used to drive my sister a little bit crazy because she'd just be like, yeah, let's just play Barbies. And I'd be like, yeah, but why? Like, why are they here? How did they get here? What's the backstory? Does Ken know Cindy? Who's this girl? Why did she get here? And I think my sister was much more of a like, let's just play. And I was like, no. And it carried over. Like my friend had Sylvanian families, like when we moved and lived close to the people. And I would drive her crazy with the backstory and the neighbors hearing the other neighbors talking about so-and-so's affair and stuff, because it was just fun for me. So I think 100% for me, it's a form of escapism. And then I think I carry that over as like a way to entertain people in the sense that I want to give them an opportunity to escape. Because the world's tough, life is lifing. And I think if you're going to do something on stream, you could just do a thing, but you're not getting the buy-in from people because they don't know why they're there or why they're listening. But if you can give them the full story and in depth and make them buy into the people, the characters, like it started in The Sims, let's be honest, which on stream is what I mean for starting in The Sims. Yeah. But I couldn't ever just build a property. Like the first thing I truly remember building on The Sims, and it probably wasn't the first thing, but one of the things that really sticks with me is I built a block of flats where the bottom flat was women who were prostitutes, and as it worked the layers up, there was like the men who kept the women in line, like, and then there was the top flat was the drug dealing pimp daddy who had a really beautiful pimped out flat, and then under him was like the drug barons and then whatever. But like that was one of the first things. Now I could have just built a block of flats, but no, I needed it. And I think the connection that helped you make with people when people were like, oh yeah, what if one of them, and then they'd add to that story, and then it became like a cooperative thing. So like I gave them an idea, and then people would want input, and they'd be like, oh yeah, put one of these in this room. Maybe one of the girls does this, or maybe the guy's hiding a stash somewhere, and like he'd go hide it. So I think collaborative storytelling kind of weirdly came apart for me, and it was the first time I'd really done it to that level with random strangers that I didn't know, and realized the like pure joy of it. Do you know what I mean? And also the buy-in. People came back to see the finished build because they wanted to know.
Yeah, what happened to the Baron? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of like, it's not selfishness to it, but there's a little bit of mindfulness that it makes better content. Like the people I'm trying to make, but also it brings me joy to do it, and I know it brings other people happiness too. They want to know, like when I'm building, no one ever asks me now what you're building. It's like, who lives here? Like, what's the story? Because they know I will have one. Like, even if I'm in the middle of a kitchen in a blank room, I've already sort of decided who lives in the house, and I'm already planning it. And like, so that was really good for The Sims, and I think it gave me an angle. Not every, like, a lot of people have it, but a lot of people's stories in The Sims are The Sims themselves. Like they're, they play it and then shit happens. Whereas I'm like, nah, we'll make our own story. We're more exciting than The Sims.
And, number one, I really need the whole story about the flat of prostitutes and then the pimp above. Like, I really need to see this because I missed it and I am now missing out and I'm really sad. But also in a weird way, I don't know about you, but especially acting and then doing tabletop RPGs. That's a huge part of it. By that I mean when we're voice acting and things, it's very helpful to realize the world you're in, because once you have the world, you can decide how the characters feel about it. But the world must exist first in that scenario, if you will. And it's a real way to connect with things as well. So do you think maybe that's part of it too, of just how you feel connected with people? Maybe, potentially?
Yeah, I mean, 100%, because like I said, it gives you, like, you can build and talk. Like, on Twitch, you know this, you can be a narrator for 3 hours. You can sit and tell everyone about your life, what you're doing, and you can just 100% never interact really with chat. And there are streamers that do that, and it's gold. Like, do you know what I mean? People love it. They just sit and they listen and they're happy. And, it's the occasional, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm at work, blah, blah, blah. And then that's it. They don't speak again in chat and they lurk. And Twitch is made of lurkers, and go do it. Yeah. Like, because it's amazing and you support people and that's great. But when you get that chance, you learn so much about someone by what they give you in that moment. Like, why do they want to, why do they want one of the women to have a purple bedroom? Why purple? Why are you, like, all that kind of thing. It's one of the easiest ways to learn about someone is watching their mind create something. And like, I can't see the people, but I can see the process. And I think like tying into TTRPGs, like you were just saying, like, obviously we'll probably get to it in a sec, or we can get to it now. But like, I'm learning to DM, and I only really like have started properly playing Dungeons and Dragons probably like the last year and a half, even though I've wanted to for like 20 years. But you have to find the people, right? But one of the best processes for that for me as a DM so far has been sitting with people as they create their character, because figuring out which bit matters to them the most, and then how they build that character around it, and figuring out when you say to them, okay, well, this is maybe the bit of the world they'd fit in, and then they realize that they can build around that. And then I'm like, yeah, the world's yours. You do what you want. Like, where would the town be? What would the thing be? And you create this. I'm just here telling you, like, the basic mechanics of the world, and you need to like build on that. It's just so much fun to learn so much about people by how their mind works. So yeah, I think it is a connection, and I think it's like, it's almost like a shortcut to a level of intimacy with someone. Like, it removes all small talk and bullshit, because you're excited about something together and it's the same thing. And once you get to that level with someone, that connection, just whether it's fake or not, it still feels more real in that moment. Like, you feel like you're on the same page, and it is a little bit of a shortcut to a buy-in. And I guess it's like people do it with kids, you know what I mean? You tell a kid a story for a reason. It's not just because you want to read them for 5 minutes in the hope that they go to sleep. It's because you're trying to engage their imagination, trying to make them develop them.
Maybe.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
No, I got you.
The reason we're supposed to read to children, not the reason we always read. And you're like, no. But it's because you want to engage that part of someone, because it's the freest part of any person. Like, it's the most inhibitionless, like, just out there. And obviously for me, I always added a level of smut, filth, mature content to it because that's funny and that's who I am as a person. But we also have done ones just where we've like had families and they had kids, and then listening to people just create what the kids' personalities might be like. And I'm like, is that what you were like as a kid, or is that what you wanted to be like as a kid? And it just it's a connection to people, but also like it's a peek behind the curtain. Yeah, like you can pay attention and you can understand the person a lot more if you create something with them. Absolutely. Like if you get to be that thing.
And especially like you were talking about the vulnerability piece, because there's got to be a level of trust, or at least a level of willing to trust to do that, because it can get real. I mean, I've had TTRPGs where I just had everyone crying their eyes out. You know, it can be really hard, or something you're working through. You know what I mean? Like, it can be very difficult. And so even just offering an idea, even if it's silly, there's still a level of, I have to test to see if I can trust this person. Not like a test. That sounds weird the way I put it, but there's a level of vulnerability to be like, can I trust this person? What if we just put a gnome in there? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's giving them a part of yourself that isn't necessarily real, but is. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, here's what happened to me in my childhood, but it's like, here's a really valuable to me part of my brain that I'm going to trust you with and see what you do, because then maybe I'll trust you with the other shit. Yeah. But like, 100%, it's that first initial moment of like, I'm giving you something precious to me. How do you treat it?
Exactly.
And, you know, I think D&D is a great example of that, of like, you get the good DMs, the bad DMs, because again, I've played a lot of one-shots and I've seen a little variety of those now. And the people who trust and embrace your characters, even if they barely know anything about them, you can see the difference. You can, like, how comfortable it is to be in that space and to want to play and to want to be your character, because they give you the trust to be yourself, but also they respect it and they like give it. Whereas you've got the other ones who are like, no, I have created a world and I have a story I want to tell, and you're the pieces I need to take that story to the end. Yeah. And it's like, that's not what it should be. And I guess some people are okay with that. Some people just want to go into combat and beat the shit out of an imaginary vampire and, you know, get the killing move, and that's fine. But like, most people that you know, that you see or that you talk to, want that story. They want to mold the story. They want to shape it. And, you know, I think that's why Critical Role really came in for me, is the like Matt Mercer effect. But Matt Mercer is like, that man built an entire world and then gave it to his friends and said, have fun. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I truly believe he is one of the best examples of that. As number one, he's just really good at improv and thinking on his feet when they do something completely unpredictable and that he's never going to see come in. But also because he knows that world, loves that world, but trusts his friends, he wants them to do something he never saw come in. Yeah. Like, he wants them to fuck it up. He wants them to go to somewhere that they weren't meant to go, because it's fun for him. Like, and I think that them, like, if you ever want to watch the same thing that we're talking about of like trust and that, they're a great example of it. I think it's like the goals are, and everyone knows that. I'm not rewriting the wheel. I'm not giving you guys a revelation. They've been around for 10 years and they're absolutely ridiculously famous. But I think for me, it's interesting to watch like campaign 1 versus campaign 2, because campaign 1, they'd been playing for a long time before. They'd already established that. We didn't get to see it happen on screen. Whereas I think campaign 2 is the first time you really get to sit and watch Matt let them shape the world. Like, he gave them a starting town and then just said, have fun. Yeah. And I think it's just, it's a genius thing to watch. Like, jealousy, goals, aspirations, but also, no, I will never be Matt Mercer, and I'm okay with that.
Like, nah. I really love that, though, because I think at the core of all of that is listening, is being able to listen and give breadth to something, because you can tell it's important to them, even if you don't understand why. So maybe listening and empathy, but that's what it sounds like to me. And what I think makes a really great game great, a really great story great, is that space to listen, that space to find yourself in it, or a small part of yourself where you can connect to it, right?
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
But also, what we were talking about before about shit books versus good books, I think there's a lot of levels in that, you know, Lord of the Rings, one of the greatest pieces of literature ever written, in my opinion. But Tolkien knew that world backwards, forwards, inside out. He knew what happened 1,000 years ago, and he knew what happened 100 years ago. And so when he creates the characters, there was no question of it making sense. It was a good story to tell, because he'd built a solid world. And then I like to think when you're writing a story and having written a few stories, sometimes the characters, even as you write them, you're like, well, that's not what they do. And even if you had a plan like, oh, they're definitely going to go here. And then as you write it, you're like, oh, but they wouldn't. No, they do something totally different. Yeah. And it's like, you can see it in good books, good stories. It's because the world got built first.
Yeah.
And I think, again, like you said, that's the important thing, is that underlying, and that's like our job as DMs or as even a Twitch streamer who's doing that kind of thing. My job is to give them the world to join in and play with, not to tell them a full story. I like to think so. Sometimes I have a full story and I'm like, no, guys, this is what's happening. Well, that's on Twitch, not on D&D.
That's your favorite NPC that you...
Yeah. Fuck off, guys. You're not taking it from me. But also, yeah.
And then to see that you affected something, like as a player, I would say, even, and as a DM too, but as a player, to see that you have affected something and then see it pay off in some way. Whether it's good or bad. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I can't remember who it was. I was watching someone on YouTube, whatever, and they were saying that it's only good if there are consequences for your actions. Like, it's only good if decisions matter. Yeah. Like, and 100%, that is what I think is the important thing. And even when those decisions, and like, I think one of the things that's the hardest thing about world building, and like I said, I am learning and I've built my first world and it's terrifying. But one of the hardest things, and I saw it was mentioned, was it Dimension 20 or was it, I don't know, it was mentioned by someone talking about something, but they said that like one of the greatest things that they ever saw was when a DM in the middle of like a session and was like, what you guys aren't seeing, and she was talking, because it was an actual play, the person was talking to the camera, so she was letting the audience know that shit was happening in the world that had nothing to do with these player characters. Yes. But it was happening regardless of them being there. And I think like the Mighty Nine getting animated, that's what Matt's all excited about, because he can go back and be like, yeah, Essex, spoiler alert, becomes a major character later, but I now get to go show you what Essex was doing the whole way through the story until he met the Mighty Nine kind of thing. And I think that's one of the hardest yet most fun things to do. Like, we've created a world for one of the things I'm playing, and they've chose to go to a certain city and they're making decisions and shit is happening. But the shit that was going to happen in the other cities if they'd have gone there because they had the choice is still going to happen, but without their influence. So like the story is moving in the whole world as they are moving through their story. And I think that also is what makes it fun, is that like the consequences to their actions. So by choosing to go to this town over this town, by choosing to leave that person behind, by not accepting that job, the job just doesn't freeze in place until you decide to go back to it. You know, these people are living, they exist, they're in a world, and those decisions have consequences, even if your decision is to do nothing. Like, and I think that's one of the things I'm having the most fun in the moment, because we're in a little pause between when we can all schedule our games, is kind of going back and filling in the timelines of everyone else that was in my big story arc, so that I know where they are when we go back in. Like, where is this person right now, and what are the chances of these people bumping into them? And again, it's still, they did it, because when I first put that person in that spot, they could have bumped into him and changed that whole story, but they didn't. So now I have to figure out for me, and this is where being a DM is great, because you do get to tell your own stories in there as well, is I get to decide what the NPC that I know that I created would do without their influence. Like, how would that have tracked down? So yeah, I think world building is the fun thing, but also, yeah, consequences to your actions are essential. Absolutely. Because if you don't have them, you know, and it's the same thing, like people say you can't fudge a roll on a nat 20. Like, nat 20s aren't always successes. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? If something isn't going to happen, like you cannot convince a king. You can't persuade a king to give you his kingdom just because you roll a nat 20. Like, he wasn't going to do it. He's never going to do it. You can tell me I'm going to roll persuasion. Great, go for it. Okay. He decides you're really charming and funny, and he wants you in his court, and he wants to talk to you every day. No, he does not give you the kingdom. You will now have a royal position and can't adventure anymore. You are now the jester. I hope you had fun with that. Yeah, basically. Like, and I wouldn't be a dick about it, and I don't mean it like that, but like, if you are rolling to say you want to influence a king, fair play, but how does that then pan out? Like, you don't get the kingdom, but you now, the king's like, oh, I trust this guy, he's very charming, he knows what he's talking about. He wouldn't let you then just run off to fight the dragon, because he'd be like, well, no, I need this dude, he's like really important. So Yeah, what are the consequences of your actions? And also, yeah, sure, I'll let you become king for a day. Do you want to do that? Because I don't think you do. You're supposed to be some loner adventurer who ran off and abandoned his family, and now you're like, yeah, the throne looks hot. Okay, great. You get to decide whether the next 20 people who walk in the room get to live or die. Have fun. Make those decisions. How long do you want to sit on that throne for?
Thought it would be?
Yeah.
You don't lead an army. Kids don't lead their own armies. What the
fuck? He never leaves this room. Like, okay, yeah, he doesn't give you the kingdom, but he does sit you back and he gives you a full life, day by day, blow by blow of how sad and lonely his life is on the throne, and then asks you to please take it from him because he doesn't want it anymore. Like, and I don't mean that they'd always be negative. You could have some really positive outcomes because it's a nat 20, but it's just the example that, like, people believe that sometimes the dice are too powerful or that they're too powerful. And it's like, no, the world still exists, mate. You can't change everything just because you are the main characters. It's your story, but you are not the only characters. Yes. Like, the world doesn't exist. Yeah, they're people. They exist. I think someone, there's a guy on TikTok who's like a DM, and he had a joke. It wasn't real, but it was like a consequence counter. And basically it was every time they were mean to the NPCs, like, you know, they stole one or they charmed one into giving them a discount, he just put a marker on and he was like, what should the consequences be? And it was like, he was like, guys, it's a prank. I didn't really count 690 times that the players pissed me off. But it was like, the point should be made, like, that if you are actively trying to be the dicks in this situation, even if you're the heroes, so you're saving the day, but you're not respecting the people in the story, there will be consequences to that. Like, you will, at some point, people will be like, yeah, we know you're going to save the town, but we also know you're probably going to rob us, so actually we're good. We'll get someone else. You know
what? You are now not the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, exactly. You've even scales. We don't want you no more.
Well, and then it totally makes sense why mercs would come after them later or something. You know? Like, hey, you actually were really rude and killed somebody that we all liked, so, you know, it totally makes sense. Yeah.
But even that simple thing of when they act freely as well. So you sometimes get characters, and I see it in a lot of actual plays, where they go somewhere, they decide the guy's the bad guy, so they kill him. Yeah. And sure, the guy fights them. But where's your evidence that that guy's the bad guy? This town, the people who sent you, they hadn't decided, they told you to investigate, and you just take it upon yourself to murder someone? Yeah, you've got an arrest warrant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, in a second. Like do you know what I mean? Yeah. We didn't know he was conning us, manipulating us, was actually working for the big bad. Like, we just thought that was Bruce, you know? He was a good guy. So, like, there are consequences even in doing the good thing. Like, you know, the anti-hero is a real concept. And, yeah, you can do what you believe to be the right thing. Like, I've seen loads of people theorize stories. I've never seen anyone actually do it where by the end the adventurers realize they've been the bad guys the whole way through and everyone they've killed and everything they've done, and like they have a reputation as these evil things, and they come across another adventuring party who's been sent out to destroy them because they are the big bad of the world. And it's like, can you imagine that moment if you're a player and you're like, wait, what? Everyone? What do you mean? There's a bounty on my head. What do you mean these adventurers who look an awful lot like us have been sent to... Oh my God, yeah. But I think it would be fun. It's like a fun story to run of being like, yeah, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, not that I have time for this, but... honestly, that would be really funny. Like, what if... Okay, this is definitely proving that we are both DM-brained. But, like... Because, A, there's some people that never want to DM. There's some people that will always DM. But, like, what if you ran two tables where they heard about each other's shenanigans, but you didn't tell them? You know what I mean? Like...
you didn't know it was the other table. So
I have after each other at some point. Oh my God, it'd be so funny. Yeah.
Well, I do have two tables in the same world, because when I started DMing, I had two different groups of friends. To be fair, one's only done like 2 sessions, maybe one, can't remember. The other one's done like 4 or 5, 6, so they're further along in the story. Right. But because they're all friends as well, we talked about crossovers. And I was like, yeah, and they were like, yeah, wouldn't it be great if we all met like randomly in a bar and then we had to solve a little thing together and we could have a little one shot. But I know their characters and I know what they've done. And I know their alignments with the world right now. And I'm like, well, we could put you all in a group together, but I guarantee it ain't gonna go the way you think it is. And like, they don't know their characters, so they don't know that they would be at odds with each other like immediately. And obviously when they hear the podcast, they're gonna be like, oh, Suze, thanks.
If you're part of the game, no, you're not.
But yeah, like, they logically, their parties would not be on the same side necessarily. And it's so interesting to me that they just assume because they're all existing within one world that they're all fighting the same evil. And it's like, but perception is a thing. And also there's more than one evil in the world at any one time. Like, absolutely. So you don't know what you're fighting is the same thing they're fighting. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I know, but you guys don't. And you don't know what like stance you're taking. So yeah, it's just an interesting, even if you do say to people actively like, hey, I've got 3 campaigns running in the same world, they'll all just assume they're going towards the same goal. And it's like,
maybe
as a DM, you can be like, but also their choices influence that dramatically, right?
Definitely.
What if one of the parties like burns the other party's hometown down because they found out it was like it's so much fun. The other one I love is Amnesia. As a DM, is wake a party up with no memory of who they are, right? Slowly let it come back to them and then see what they do. And because it's players that we all know they'd become adventurers, right? They become the good guys. They'd go out, they'd start saving the day. But then what if the memories they have is that they were the villain? Like, do you know what I mean? And as those memories come back, they realize the people they're chasing is themselves. So they have literally been following a breadcrumb of trails to catch themselves. And it's such an interesting concept for a D&D game. Like you couldn't do a long one. It'd have to be like a mini campaign, right? Because they catch themselves pretty quickly. But also, what if you're the first one to realize? What if you realize that your friends are the villains? Do you tell the rest? Do you leave? Do you take them out because they're villains? Like if they remember who they were, do they go back to being who they were?
Like hide the evidence.
Yeah. Does all the good you did in the like 4 months that you've been campaigning together undo the bad you did before, or are you still the villains? Like it's such, and I think that's what storytelling ultimately is. Really, it's a way to pose big questions in a fun way, right? It's a way to let you think about the problems of the world and also just to believe that we'd be good. Like look at the Hunger Games versus America right now. Not to get too political. Like, there's so many people making comparisons, and there's a reason the Hunger Games are back again, and that they're selling really well, and that they're bringing out new films. And it's because people want to believe that if they were faced with that situation, they'd rebel, that they would fight, that they would hold back, that they would do it, that we would not be oppressed as people. But realistically, we all know we are the opposite of that. Whereas, you know, what is it they say in Men in Black, that a person is smart and people are dumb? And I don't mean that in a horrible way, but it's 100% true. Like, on your own in a room, you were like, I will never let that happen. You put 100 people in a room and they're like, yeah, but what?
We're unsure. What's everyone else doing?
Yeah, exactly. The minute it becomes a crowd or...
Oh, no,
but
absolutely.
yeah, so...
mob mentality type of things. And, like, I only said Suze because I'm like, you don't know this about me, but I quote that way too often. That is one of my favorite quotes in a film, TV, movie ever fucking spoken from Tommy Lee Jones. Yes, because like, and it, nope, I'm good. I could deep dive literally just on that. No, but it is. I 100% think it's true. But also, I think it is the collective apathy that comes from that. Is you just assume someone else is going to take care of it. Or well, maybe
like the more people you put, the more people you put in a room, though, you just start assuming someone smarter than you, someone stronger than you, someone bigger than you, someone else will take care of it. And it's always interesting to me in D&D that we put these people in a thing and you give them some powers and they create these characters, but never once does a D&D character turn to the DM, or never in my experience in anything I've ever watched, and go, isn't there someone else we should go to? Because this is like, actually no, they do it in Mighty Nine, but they still continue on anyway. But like, no, they never hand the job off. They're never like, yep, we're outclassed here. I'm just gonna, or they never sit in a tavern for 2 sessions waiting. Yeah, of course there's a dragon out there, but someone else is gonna go deal with it, right?
Like a level 20 like, somewhere, right?
It just is never a thing when you're in a story to assume that, because you know in a story that you're the main character. You know that DM is telling the story for you. But when did we stop knowing we were the main characters in our own lives? Like, when did we walk away from that responsibility that I am the main character in my own life and I'm the one that should take action? I'm the one that should change things, because in my own life, I'm the only one who can. Like, I can't sit and wait. And I think, collective apathy, like the whole procrastination as a nation is what we do now. And I live on the Isle of Man. I don't live in America, so I'm not ever going to criticize any American for not knowing what the fuck to do right now, because I get it. But also, I think we're all the same. Like, the number of people who sit around and bitch about things and then never even take a simple step to fix it. And you're like, well, what are you doing about it? And like, we all moan about stuff, but what are you doing? Like, if you're unhappy, only you can change that. Like, you are the only person in control of your own destiny. And if you start thinking you're not, you're thinking incorrectly. Like, do you know what I mean? If
Or
Katniss
drowning in
Everdeen
something
said,
that's hard to get through. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I'm not saying that, like, I get that it can, and I've been there, and we, you know, mental health is mental health is health, and mental health is a real thing, and everyone has mental health. Mental health is not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It is a thing that we all have and we all exist. And sometimes when we struggle with our mental health, we can struggle with believing and, you know, accepting that we're in control of our own destiny. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I think it is the greatest gift you can kind of give yourself is to take back that control of your own life.
Absolutely.
Because if you, and like all things, and again, I try not to get too political, but even religion comes into this. Yeah. I think one of the worst things about organized religion, and I could go on,
God, sorry. Anyone that's in my stream knows I hate organized religion. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my go-to phrase that I say to everyone is I have absolutely no problem with faith. Believe whoever and whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Organized religion, absolutely fucking hate it. Yeah. So like, I do not care who you believe in or what you do with that belief. What I have a problem with is organized religion that uses that belief as a weapon. But also I think that within that faith and belief, it doesn't remove accountability from yourself. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't get to sit there and say, well, God has a plan, so I don't need to do anything. It's like, no, if you truly believe you were created by someone and they have a goal for you, also believe they gave you the tools and the witherall to go do it. You know, there's that great story about like the guy who was drowning and someone comes past him and he's like, do you need a hand? He's like, no, don't worry, God will save me. And then someone else comes to offer him a hand and he's like, no, God's got it. I've prayed, like, it's fine. And then when he gets to heaven, he's like, God, what the hell? And he was like, I sent you like 6 people. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, exactly. It's the whole point is like, why do you assume that it's going to look like some divine self? You know, he's not going to give you the lottery win. He's going to give you the tools to go out and get a better job. He's going to give you the tools to go find it. Like, and that is what we should all be believing in. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's the same thing with fate. Like, even if you don't believe in God and you just believe that there is a destiny and that we're all determined and we're all going to end up in a certain point anyway, yeah, you still have to flipping do shit to get there. Like, you don't just get to ride a boat down a river and just end up at the same spot as everyone else regardless. No, you are being given choices and pathways and things to get you to that point. But if you choose not to make them, then you're not going anywhere. Like, the boat will just stall. Like, life only moves because we move it. Like, you can't just expect to get to an end goal. All that will happen is you'll die.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean,
disappointed and alone.
But you're never going to end up where you wanted and or thought you could go.
Yeah, ever. Yeah. You will never achieve your full potential if you're waiting for someone else to give you your full potential.
Well,
like, you have to go out there and get it.
Have your interest at heart, ever, never. Like, they can try and they can be like, it's kind of like the whole like, I always equate this to like an ex-boyfriend of just like, I see what you could do. Why can't you achieve it, kind of thing. And it's like, girl, no, like things like that. You're absolutely correct. Have to come from within you. At some point, even if it's just something like, I'm tired of this. That thought of like, whatever situation you're in, I'm tired of this and I don't want this anymore. Well, now here you go. Now here's the first step. That's the first step. Let me think it. And then like, just one little step to actually get yourself out of it. 100%. And, you know, I was going to say real quick, you were talking about organized religion. And again, we won't deep dive in this kind of thing, because you know, we all know how that can go. But the whole
but get in the comment section of wherever you are right now, engage with the algorithm, tell us whether you think we're wrong.
Oh my god. Well, and the thing is, though, it just, for me, it automatically denotes some kind of power immediately. There is a hierarchy of some kind, otherwise it's not fucking organized religion. Like, you know, and it kind of goes against the whole organized part of that. But even tying to what we were just talking about, people have their own agendas. And if they see a pathway to get there, well, they can use it. You know what I mean? And that's the whole cherry picking and, you know. Yeah.
The minute anyone ever believes they have the power to tell you you're doing something wrong, they have too much power. Yeah. Like, they cannot tell you you're believing in God incorrectly, which is how organized religion works. Yes, you can believe in God, but only if you do it my way. Well, that's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard in my life, because either I believe it or don't. Like, God doesn't give a shit whether I'm following your rules. Like, if he did, he'd come down and tell me about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck you. But I have a real problem with it. But I think also, like, so I, as a streamer, like obviously we raise a lot of money for charity. Hi, how you doing? If you
Yes,
ever come by my stream, give me money to charity. That's how me and Torin got closer, because I kept dragging her into charity streams. But one of the reasons I do charity, but also one of the like mottos that I give the stream and we talk about, because, you know, it's not about how much you raise, it's about raising awareness, it's about spreading a message, it's about being there, it's about holding yourself accountable. One of my favorite things that, and I don't know where I got it, but I just know that I heard it somewhere, is like that one person can't change the world, but they can change the world for one person. Which is like the whole point of, you know, we raised $1 that they didn't have before, but you have no idea the implications of that dollar. And like I always say, like the thing as well, what if someone watched our stream and then was like, I didn't know about this charity, I'm going to look into it. Okay, now I'm going to go work for it. Now I'm going to change the reach they have. Now they're going to, and like that ripple, that massive ripple that you'll never see. Like we'll never see it. We don't know. It's massive. But I always think the interesting thing about that phrase is the person you should change the world for is yourself first. Yeah. Like you change the whole world by changing the whole world for yourself, because every time you go, I'm tired of this, and you make that decision and you go for it, and then you can change the world for the person next door to you. But it's like, you know, and Boss Charlie Sims, shout out to my best friend in the entire world, her favorite phrase is, you know, put your own air mask on first. You know, if the plane's going down, put your face mask on first. And that's what so many people forget is in life, make sure you've put your own mask on first. Like, make sure you are taking care of you before you are holding on to other people and bringing them up, because otherwise you will drown under their weight and they will rise, but you can only fall. Yeah. So, like, I just think that people, I think it's that thing about being like, selfishness became a really big thing that everyone was like, you have to be altruistic all the time. You have to be selfish. Not selfish, selfless. Selfless. Like, they made selfishness like the biggest enemy in the world. Like, it became such a horrible thing. You only ever think about yourself. You only ever care about yourself. You're doing that for you. Be a people pleaser. Look after people. Care about the world. And it's like, yeah, great. But that, not if you forget yourself in there. It's like, once you're okay, then you can spread that. Yeah. But like, if you're not okay, stop putting energy into other people. Like, stop it right now. If you're watching this, go back, put your own fucking mask on, okay?
Right now.
Well, not even cure yourself, just focus on yourself. Give yourself the energy you give to others. Give yourself the grace you give to others. Give yourself all of the kindness you would give to others, and just give yourself a minute. And like, I'm the worst. This is advice that I don't take. I try to these days, but like the power from anyone gets greater when you're okay, like yourself. You know what I mean? When you've given yourself that kind of kindness and energy, and people can see it. Why would someone take advice from you when they're looking at you drowning? Like, why would someone
that all led
look
to
at you?
This? Why are you?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know how to help you, even though I'm drowning. They're just going to be like, okay, and walk away. Like, so you have to learn to float first. Otherwise, you're not really achieving what you think you are. You're just drowning yourself and probably, unfortunately, others with you.
Yeah, right.
So,
like the weight, the chain of the weight.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to your point, this is kind of like not even a comment or a question, but like wrapping up a few things here. You know, I think that's kind of the interesting part of even the whole thing about one person is smart, people are stupid kind of thing. There's something to be said for when you are feeling okay, do go help others and let that chain perpetuate. But there's a whole thing about where, you know, some people, that's an organized effort that can be very difficult, especially when I'm not going to say weak links in the chain, but it's something that's hard to perpetuate and organize. And I only say that just because that kind of lesson of you have to take care of yourself a little bit before you can help others, it perpetuates itself in weird ways and really strong ways too. Even from the whole thing about TTRPGs, helping out your party, not just yourself. Like, a lot of people want to be like, I'm the lone wolf character. Okay, get out then, because no one's going to want to help you. You're not going to progress a story at all, even with other people. And then even beyond that too, things like you're talking about America and what's going on right now. Like, it's so hard to cut through the noise, and I mean this in a general way, of that's the whole reason fascism works, is because it floods the system. And so when you 100%. Can't hear your own thoughts and you can't hear other people except for just, you know, horrible shit being thrown at you every day, you can't lone wolf that. But what you can do is make sure your neighbor is okay. Like, hey, you good? Yeah. And just slowly perpetuate that type of thing. And start affecting things and just going, you know, even as a character, as yourself, whatever it is, every scenario we've actually talked about today is literally just, I want something to be different. Or I want myself to be different. Or, you know, whatever it may be. I want this to be different. And being able to talk and reach out and actually listen. That listen part. It's so crucial to literally, like, at least in my mind, is like, again, this is the autism, but like the ground base work.
This is the autism speaking.
Well, I mean, you know, it's that thing about seeing things from a higher view and then seeing all the red strings go together, you know. And I personally, at least, just believe one of those through points is just listen. And on top of that, critical thinking. And I'll say, even as a character, that's part of it too, depending on how your character views the world, you know, whatever lens they're looking for. There's got to be some kind of critical thought process to be like, okay, not that. Yes. Keep this. That's not important. It's that point of view on top of those things that I think everything is very important from what you talked about.
Yeah, and I think that is the crucial thing as well, is that when we say listen, like, we don't just mean hear.
Yeah, actively listen. Yes.
Yeah. And I think some people are like, yeah, I do listen. It's like, do you though? Because and it's the same thing I think about when people are like, yeah, I see you. And it's like, you don't see me. Yeah. Like, you look at me, but I don't think you've ever seen me as a person. And it's the same thing as like, you hear me, like you listen, but you don't hear me. Mm-hmm. Like, you can be in a room, like TTRPGs are great ones. Like, and I think one of the skills people can learn from TTRPGs and just in general storytelling is, and we used to do it as kids. I don't know if you ever did it. Did you ever do like comprehension books? Was that a thing like at school for you? So we used to have to do the reading where you'd read a full story and then you had to answer the questions. And I always think, like, for me, it's the recaps that you get the players to do, because you get to find out what they heard from what you said. Mm-hmm. So like, I did a session and then we did the next session. I made the players do the full recap for me, which is normally something I do because I enjoy recaps. They're funny. I always like try and make it silly, but I made the players do it in just a sense of, were you actually paying attention kind of thing. And it just proper, like, my brain was like, oh, okay. These are the things that's important to my characters there in that story, because they're the bits they picked up on. They didn't give a shit about this. They didn't give a shit about that. But also it was for me a lesson of, okay, the way I delivered a certain thing obviously didn't work because it was important to the story and they haven't remembered it. It's not retained in their brains. Right. So what did I do to not engage them with that part? And what can I do better in the future? And I think that's one of the things that, I don't know, it's like, again, I'm undiagnosed on any particular thing. Not that that doesn't mean I don't have them. But I always think that, like, there's an interesting thing in how I relate to people is I used to, and I've kind of talked myself out of it, and I kind of hate that about myself. But I used to, when they tell me a story about themselves, my response would be to tell a similar story about myself to show that I listened, I understood, and this is like a situation I went through, which is why I can understand and we can talk about this. And obviously people say, oh, that's really bad. It's really selfish. Like, why are you making it about yourself? And it's like, no, it's my way of recapping your story back to you without actively just recapping your story back to you. Because, like, for me, sometimes I want to do the job interview style where I'm like, so what I'm hearing you say is X, Y, Z. And what I'm taking from that is, and you can't do that in friendships and you can't do that in conversations. But sometimes I feel like you need to, because sometimes I feel like you need to turn around to your friend and go, right, you said a lot there. I heard some things. Which bits of that was important to you? Because my brain focused on this because it's relevant to my life. Yeah. But were you trying to tell me about this? And I think one of the greatest, like, faults of friendships is people don't check in like with what they heard. I was watching there's a podcast on YouTube called Secondhand Therapy, and it's absolutely amazing. And it's two guys who both go to different therapy sessions, and then they podcast about it and they chat to each other about their own therapy. And they are so interesting. They're both going through very different journeys in life. But they were talking the other day, and one of the guys is going through grief at the moment, and he said, I don't have an answer to your question. And the other guy was, I didn't ask you a question. And he was like, yeah, you did. And he was like, no, I really didn't. And he said, yeah, you want to know why I haven't just got over it yet. And the guy turned around and he was like, that might be what you heard, but that is not what I said. And I was just like, and that is the exact summary that we often need in our lives, is to someone recap what they heard so you can be like, no, because that is not what I said. Yeah. Because we hear through our own filters a lot of the time. And I think one of the dangerous things in stories, conversations, everything, and it's interesting, if you talk to someone about the Hunger Games, or you talk to someone about D&D, or you talk to someone about anything, their take on it and their moments that they pick up on, and you sit there and you think, really? That's what you got from that? Like, that's what you took from that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it tells you, again, like I was saying about when people tell you they want to have a purple building or they want to have a hooker that maybe does a certain dance to a certain song. So we should definitely have, Shania Twain shit and make it all leopard print. Like, if you can learn so much about a person that's where their brain went and that's the process. And I think you also can learn a lot about people, about what they hear when you speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I just said something. Repeat about what did you hear me say? Because you did not hear what I'd love to be in a room with everyone who watches this back or listens to this back,
mm-hmm.
and then do a recap with them and say, okay, what was that about? What did we talk about? Because I guarantee you every single person will give us a different answer.
Oh, 100%.
Like, and it's so intriguing to me, because how do we ever as human beings communicate? Because we never fucking, like, we are, like, the whisper game is humanity. Like, do you know what I mean? Nothing ever
mm-hmm.
passes through two people without going through their own personal filter. Like, it's physically impossible. And it's just so, it fascinates me. It genuinely does. But also, like, I hate that for some reason, like, that recall or that recap or that questioning people is considered, like, rude to a level. And it's like, it shouldn't be. Like, I should be allowed to ask you clarifying questions. It wasn't because I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
It's because I want to make sure what I heard is what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and great friendships don't challenge that. Great friendships are like, yeah, sure, like, check in with me. Like, yeah, but politer, getting to know you shit, it's rude. And I hate it. And again, for stories.
100%. And one of my most personally, and see, this is very interesting. One of my most personal, like, really frustrating storylines is when people just misunderstand each other and then they go about their day and they're just so bad. That's the whole plot. I hate that shit. But I wanted to touch on something real quick because you mentioned it. Because I just did it. I shared something about way I view things because of something you said. But for me, that is a hopeful way to show empathy and that I heard you. And I totally get what you're talking about, because I've had many people in my life that are like, why are you trying to one-up me? Or it's not about you. And I'm like, whoa. I'm just trying to show you that I connected with what you said. And saying something like the phrase, I connected with what you said, it feels either disingenuous or like I'm trying to placate.
Sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, or like, like you're talking to a 5-year-old. I heard what you said, that you wanted the scissors, but they are sharp and going to kill you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very placating feeling. And, I really wanted to point out, though, or just maybe pin something on that, especially because you're like, how have we communicated? There's a total difference, too, not even like from the side of the listener, but the side of the communicator. That moment where you get to question and ask, or you go, hey, can you clarify this? There's also a lesson there of, how do I actually communicate? And can I communicate well? That's things like, do the words match the facial expression? Does the energy of the body also match? Like, did I just hear that correctly? and at least for me, it's a very autistic thing, but it's true.
This is why I'm saying, like, everyone should DM or everyone should play a TTRPG, because that's how you learn that about yourself.
Absolutely. Well,
because I said, the recap of what they took from what I said taught me that I didn't empathize things correctly, emphasize things correctly. Words are hard, okay? It's like 11 o'clock at night for me. But yeah, like, so you learn, but also, like, you learn the weight to your words.
Yes.
So you learn that because you did casually throw out a sentence about Joe Bloggs who worked at the blacksmith, they picked up on that and they decided that was an important character. And it wasn't. Like, it was just a dude in a story for setting a scene. But you learn the value of your words and how you choose to deliver them. And I think it's such an important thing that everyone should learn, that your words do have consequences, that your words have weight with people, and also that you have no control over how someone hears your words. You only have control over how you deliver them. So if you want to make sure they're delivered the right way, A, put the work and the effort in to make sure you're being clear, but also B, check in.
Yeah.
Like say to be, like, I am one of the most sarcastic bitches on the planet. I'm British. Like, it just comes with our nature. But I sometimes have to check with my friends, because if I text sarcasm to them, they don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, they have no idea. But it's my responsibility in that moment to send them a message and be like, Yeah, that was sarcasm, by the way. It's not their responsibility to clarify with me what I said, because I'm the one delivering the message. So I think there is a give and take in it of like, there is a responsibility as a listener to be able to be comfortable to say, hey, this is what I took from you. This is my recap of the 20 seconds you just spoke. Like, is that right? Active listening, you know what I mean? Ask questions that are relevant to what you just heard to make sure that what you heard was correct. But also as a talker and as a storyteller and as a person, we have a responsibility to think about what we just said and make sure it lands correctly with people, because, you know, I fully believe that everyone is allowed to get offended and the world should be full of offense. Like, just because you're offended doesn't mean I have to change who I am. Yeah. Like, I'm allowed to offend you and you're allowed to be offended, and that is all right. Thank God for free speech. But also, if I didn't intend to offend you, or if your offense actually comes from you misunderstanding what I said, then I have a responsibility to clear that up. If I said what I said and it offends you, then I have a choice to make about whether I want to change what I said or whether I'm okay with you being offended by what I said. Mm-hmm. But like, if you don't intend to hurt people and you hurt people, you're the one with the responsibility. You don't get to say to them, well, I'm sorry that it hurt your feelings. No. You get to say, let me rephrase it then so you understand what I was saying. Mm-hmm. I think the worst thing you can ever say to someone, I'm sorry that you took it in a way that upset you. Or I'm sorry that what you heard hurt you. And storytelling as well. Like, I'm sorry that like the part of the story I took that you took to mean that. Like, there's an author getting cancelled right now because she wrote a bit that was definitely racist. Okay. And her backlash to that was like, I'm sorry if you read that as racist. And it's like, no. Ownership.
Do you know what the definition
yeah.
of
I
don't think
ownership. You don't get to tell people, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can be like, yes, you're correct, it was racist and I am not, or like, yes, I'm not apologizing for the phrasing, I think it, but she wasn't. She was just like, no, I wasn't racist, and no, you guys are interpreting it wrong.
Okay.
It's like,
yeah, like you've kind of done the whole creative thing of, I've made something and now I just get it, you know, just put it into the world, and people are going to have different views on that no matter what. And I will put just another thought in our heads on top of those things of just, there's a real, and I'm going to loop this back to the very beginning of the first thing we were talking about. There's, well, it's, again, the way my brain works, but there's a real introspection of, do I want this to continue? And do I want that person to still engage with me in the examples you were talking about, right? Like, if I've said something that offended somebody and I can tell they're offended or they just don't want to talk to me because they haven't talked to me, they've ghosted, you know, whatever it may be, some true action is trying to infer something to me, then the question I think then becomes of, do I want to put forth the effort to try to get them back? Or like, you know, explain myself so we can continue some kind of relationship. And, oh man. And I say I bring that back to the beginning because it kind of goes to the whole, if you don't finish a book, but I value my time more than other times kind of thing. And you really got to have that introspective moment of, God, what do I want this to be? And then also to the middle of the conversation of, I want this to change. Anyway, yeah. So
yeah. No, I get you 100%. Yeah, woo, we've really well told this story. But I think that's a really valuable point about friendships and just your own time, like we were saying from the very beginning. Like, you have to put a certain worth on your own time. Is one of the things I hate is when people say, I put all the effort in and you don't put any effort in, therefore you're a shit friend to the other person. And it's like, no. You choose how much time and effort you put in based on how much they're worth to you, like how much you value that friendship, how much you value that everything. You are the person, you are the only person who gets to decide how much time and effort you put into anything. They get to do the same, but also they value their time on a different scale to you. You will never know it, you will never understand it. It is like weird currencies that none of us understand because we all value it ourselves. So for them, giving you 20 minutes could be the equivalent of you giving them 7 hours. You will never know, and you do not get to decide that for them. You do not get to say to them, I demand 7 hours of your time every week because I give you 7 hours of mine. Because you are not in their shoes, you are not in their brain, you do not know their life. So I think boundaries are important, and I also think that you absolutely get to say this friendship is not worth my time because I am putting in so much time and getting nothing out of it. You can say that. What you cannot do is demand they change their behavior and up their time input. They get to decide what they want to do with their time and their actions. And I think people seem to believe that boundaries are something they can enforce on other people instead of realizing that boundaries are what you enforce on yourself.
Yeah.
Boundaries are things that you can tell other people about. You can be like, that's my boundary. You crossed it. Therefore, I now get to make decisions based on that information. But you can't say to someone, I need you to act a certain way for the rest of your life, because that's their boundaries and their decisions and their choices. It's not yours. You just get to do and decide with what you do. And it's the same with time. And like, again, everything, storytelling, DMing, Twitch streaming, all of it ties in together. It's all about your time and your value. And it's all about, as a DM, like, you get to decide if you want to put in 6 hours prep time or 20 hours prep time or a lifetime of prep time. You don't get to force your players to put in 20 hours of prep time.
Yeah.
You don't get to force your players to turn up an hour before the session. They are telling you they're here for the 3 hours. That's the value. They can decide how much time and thought they put in beforehand. But what you do get to do is dictate when you're in there and you're in that room and you're in that 3 hours that everyone's engaged and everyone, you know, part of it, because that is your 3 hours of time you're giving them. So you need some give back, and that's fine. You can say that. You can be like, hey guys, if you're not going to give in this 3 hours what I give you, I can't do it because it's like I'm pulling teeth. That's fine. But you can't be like, you guys didn't put in your 20 hours of homework. Like, no, you don't get to do that.
This is probably very American of me, but I like to think of boundaries as rules of engagement, because, you know, this is the way that I show up to a game, let's say, to a D&D game. And this kind of goes along with lines and veils. And if you're unaware of what those are safety tools to use during tabletop games and other things, of just like, hey, a line is like, I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to do it. A veil is like, it can exist, but like, can we not dwell on it? So anyway, but I think of boundaries that way, as rules of engagement, because it's like, hey, I'm cool being in this game as long as there's like no harm to things that cannot defend themselves. In like great detail, like that doesn't need to be there, kind of thing. And I love it. I love the way that you think about that, because I mean, but as a Twitch streamer, it's also very true. You know, you have literally just an open door to your room and you can't see faces. If you're like me, you don't even know how many people are there. Like, you know, it's very much
Twitch streamers, turn off your view account. Never look at it.
God,
worst thing for your mental health.
It's the worst. And even if you have a fairly good, like, healthy mental health regimen, it's still the worst. Just turn it off. It's not worth it. You know, to do something like that and engage literally with anything, the boundaries have to be there for yourself. They don't have to be. You will have a much healthier experience if you do. 100%.
And I also think with that is that, like, so for me as well, like I was saying about boundaries are what you put on yourself. They're not what you put on other people. And that is like what you're prepared to talk about, what you're prepared to do. And if people step over those boundaries, especially in Twitch is a slightly different environment because you can remove people. Yeah. Like if they are making you uncomfortable in your space, it's your space. You have control over that space, so you can remove them from it. One of the things I will say about boundaries that are your own to control and, you know, you can't force them on other people is that situation changes if you are in a space the person can't leave by choice. Yeah. So if you're locked in a room with someone, you don't get to be a dick and cross their boundaries when you know they have not got the option to remove themselves from that situation. And that is the only time in my mind it really changes. Like if people used to come into my stream and be like, oh, why are you swearing? Why are you being filthy? Why are you doing this? Leave. Yeah. Like, why are you here? You don't have like, you are not trapped in a room with me. Like, what is your problem? Like, do you not know how to close a browser? Like, do you need instructions? Like, there's an X. Well, what is your problem? Yeah. So, like, I feel in that situation that no one gets to put boundaries on me because you can leave. I'm here. It's my space. But if I go into someone else's space, or if if you go into someone else's stream, they can't leave. The only way for them to leave is to end stream, which is like an unrealistic expectation of someone to be like, you're upsetting me, so I'm going to end my whole stream that I've, prepped myself for, got my headspace into. I'm supposed to be for 4 hours. I'm going to leave after 30 minutes because you're being a dick. Mm-hmm. Like, that's unrealistic. So you have a responsibility when you go into someone else's space to respect their boundaries then. But like, other than that, boundaries are our own internal mechanisms, in my opinion. But yeah, I honestly genuinely believe more people just need to play D&D or TTRPGs.
Absolutely agree, yeah.
I just think it teaches you so much about people. It teaches you so much about yourself. And also it reminds you of, like, hope. And, people, everyone loves an underdog story. And I always think that, like, you get that chance in D&D to remember what it feels like to make changes and to have consequences. Yeah. Because I feel like in D&D those consequences are obvious. Do you know what I mean? Like in D&D, the DM will tell you, yeah, you know, you guys picked a fight with that guy, so now 2 sessions later, that's why you're getting your ass kicked. Mm-hmm. That is the consequences of your actions. I think in life, it's a lot harder for us to see that big picture and to see those consequences and be like, oh, this is happening to me now because I did this 5 years ago, or I did this 2 weeks ago, or we don't feel it, so therefore we don't track it as openly, and we're like, life doesn't matter, nothing matters, I can't change anything, I can't do anything. Yeah. Whereas if you had a narrator narrating your life who could call back every time something happens, that like, this good thing is happening because you did a good thing 2 weeks ago, because you made that choice, because you made that decision. Or, hey, maybe the reason you're broke and crying on a Friday night is because you chose to buy that Lego set 2 weeks ago, so you don't have any money. Or maybe the way you're feeling miserable this morning is because you've been drinking for 3 days in a row. Maybe it's your own choices that are reflecting on you. Yeah, 100%. The Lego set, definitely.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah. Well, like, if we all had narrators, like we all had DMs, mm-hmm. the self-realization people would have about how much they are influencing their own lives every day would be immense and would be so beneficial. There's a film that's based on a book, I think, with Will Ferrell and Emma Thompson. And Emma Thompson is an author writing this guy's life, and he realizes he's part of a book. Can't remember what it's called, but it's such a good film.
I need to watch it.
And it's like he hears her voice in his head, and he's Stranger Than Fiction. I think it's called Stranger Than Fiction. I was
gonna say, because I'm like, I love that movie. That's the only, okay, sorry for all Will Ferrell people. That's the only movie I like his.
Yeah, no, I'm not really a big fan of him, but I love that movie too. Well, is it? Yeah, that is it Emma Thompson? I don't know. There's a writer anyway who's writing his story, and like he starts hearing a voice and whatever. Like, and I always think that would be the craziest thing if you realize that is if you had a narrator every day that was like, yeah, this is a recap of the last week, because. Wouldn't it be great if someone told us all the good No, because that's the whole point.
I only say that because the immediate thought I had was like, hey, remember when you did that dumb thing the other day? And I'm like, no. And the narrator's like, yeah, you did. I'm like, no. Like, that part would be horrible. What you're talking about would be wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's, again, that perspective of that nobody cares.
Yeah.
Which is also my other thing, which if you're a DM, storyteller, whatever, like, the DM can describe a whole town to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of people in it. And these people walk in who probably look a bit weird and are probably a bit weird. And if you're a good DM, you don't suddenly decide that the entire town turns and looks at them and is like, these strangers have entered. We must do something. And
they all had an exclamation mark, oddly enough.
Yeah. Stop fucking getting, guys. But like, you know, like NPCs don't care what the PCs are doing unless they're directly interacting with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, we all need to just remember that in life is that most of the time, the NPCs don't give a shit what you're doing.
No.
Like, they do not know that you've had a bad hair day. They do not care that you spilled coffee on your top. They did not see you trip. And even if they did, they have bigger shit going on in their own head and they forgot about it 3 seconds later. And they're not spending the next month going, oh my God, let me tell you about this woman who tripped on the street. Like, you are not the highlight of anyone's life unless you're doing something good and positive or something really shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only time we really influence people is when we make a choice to do something great or something shit.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, we're all just NPCs in each other's lives. Like, that's
I do just want to say, as a PSA, maybe teeny tiny little soapbox, tell people when they do good shit for you, or that you appreciate them, or whatever it may be. Like, for the love of God, I know it can be awkward for a lot of people to, you know, go, hey, you have affected me positively, but it's really fucking important. And especially, I know, again, this is more of a US centric problem, especially right now, man, just let people know that they've done something good for you, or that you really appreciate them, whatever it may be. It goes a long way in helping that exact scenario of not being stuck in a cycle of like, I just did something very stupid, I'll think about this for the rest of my life, in that kind of horrible self-down part, if you will. Yeah.
And here I am going to flip that directly on you, Miss Torin. Miss Torin, is when people say that to you, try and hear it.
I do, like, and I'm going to say, I do totally hear you though, because, you know, streaming is such a weird experience, and we've been doing it for 5 years, and in the beginning, especially, it's real hard to just say fucking thank you. Just the phrase, thank you. It's difficult. And after streaming for 5 years, it's only been realistically in the last maybe 2 years where I've been able just to push that part down that just goes, no, don't do that, to thank you. I really appreciate it. Whether it's like gifting something, streaming, you know, like bits or whatever.
Yeah.
Like in compliments, it's unfortunate that for a lot of people, I'll say, I don't know if it's most, that a lot of us will just be like, no, that's weird. Like, I'm not like that. But you don't know what's going on inside my head. Shut the fuck up and just say thank you. and let it permeate in osmosis into you, because it's hard. Yeah, but it's really needed. Yeah.
Yes. I am in a very privileged position. I'm really bad at accepting gifts, especially monetary ones. It makes it, and it's not that it makes me feel awkward in the sense that I'm like, hey, why are you giving me money, you weirdos? But it just, I am quite comfortable in my life, and it's not a job for me. Twitch is not a job. Yeah. I have a job. You know, I have a full-time job. It pays my wage. So for me, yes, money is appreciated. Thank you. I'll go buy myself a coffee, or I'll buy myself a drink, or like I will, you know, buy Lego if that's what you guys buy me. And if you buy me sweets or treats, yeah, fucking thank you. I get so excited when I open parcels that have come that I didn't order, because that's the greatest feeling ever. Like, no one's ever going to complain about that. But I am really bad at saying thank you and appreciating it, just because, you know, the world is horrible and, you know, like life sucks, but also because I ask for a lot of charity money from people. Yeah. So for me, I'm like, dude, just save it and give it to a charity. Like, I'm not in need and the world is in need right now. So like I'm bad at taking monetary gifts, but also I'm in a really privileged position to know that Twitch changed my life. Mm-hmm. And not in the it gave me a job way, in the like, isn't, you know, like full-time content creators who can sit there and be like, oh, imagine what I'd be doing if I wasn't on Twitch. Like, they literally gave me the confidence and strength to change my entire career to nothing to do with Twitch. Mm-hmm. Like, I walked away from 13 years of retail and a high-level retail job, took a $6,000 pay cut, and walked into a whole new career because I started talking about it, and they were like, we believe in you. We know you can do it. We have faith in you. We'll be here the whole way. We'll hold your hands. Like, I had people in the same career I was going into who were like, yeah, I'll help you. I'll support you. You got exams. I'll sit there. And they made me realize that I'd been talking about it for so long and not doing it, because people give lip service to it, and you're like, oh yeah, of course they believe in me, but like, no, they really believed in me. Like, they really had my back, and they were really there, and they were like, whatever you need, Suze, we've got you. And they've been here through the whole process for me, you know what I mean? And when I did dip the wage, they did support me and help me out, and, you know, I did get a few more monetary gifts and stuff. But like, it's a very lucky position to be able to be so grateful that it kind of changes the whole thing for me on Twitch now, in that, like, when I go on, I don't need anything more out of it, because they've already given me like the greatest gift they could ever give me. So for me, it's all just now me chilling with them and hopefully bringing them some joy and making their day a bit better. But I know for some people, like, they see a responsibility in Twitch to like change their lives out of it. Like, as in, I want to be a full-time content creator, or I want to make a lot of money so I can do stuff. And it's like, the pressure that puts on you to like turn up every day then must be impossible. Like, I don't know how people do it, because I turn up for fun. Like, so I'm very lucky. But yeah, I also hate it when people are nice to me. So, well, you don't learn from that.
I will say though, I feel like, and I know you're saying that they're different, but that support and change though, and community though, is exactly the same, in my opinion. And I say that as the other side, because I run my own business. Yeah,
you have full time.
Yeah, I run my own business, and Twitch streaming is not my full business, but it absolutely is part of it. And, you know, without the Twitch community that I have, I wouldn't have done anything that I've done in the last 5 years. Even when I got laid off from software development and was like, I guess I'm voice acting. What the fuck? I'm doing that now. But it absolutely has changed a life of, maybe not even Twitch necessarily, but Twitch just provides a platform to have the community. To go, somebody who is not married to me or has to be with me for some reason, you know what I mean? Legally bound to me in some way.
Yeah.
Says that I can do this, or that they believe in you, is such a powerful fucking thing. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. Like, one of the greatest realizations of my life with Twitch is the realizing, obviously, that there is 9 million streams they could watch, and they still choose mine. Like Twitch recaps just come out and people being like, you're my top streamer, or you're in my top 5, or I watched this many hours of your content. And I'm like, dude, you could have gone anywhere, watched anyone. Out of all of the people, you chose me. And like you said, like not through family, not through like a bond from birth, not from
a signed
just
piece of
being,
paper.
not from working in the same room, not from any of those forced situations. These are people who found you incidentally on the internet and then actively make the choice every week to come back. And there's so much power in that. Like, really, when you let yourself accept it, there's so much power in it. There's also a lot of pressure in it that is mostly self-imposed, in the sense of you feel like you have to turn up for them because they choose you, so you should choose them. But they don't put that pressure on me, like, or you. It's 100% that's an us thing. Like that obligation to enter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if anyone ever DMs you and gives you shit for not going live,
boundaries are good.
Don't kill him, ban him. Sorry, that's the ban symbol, not the murder symbol. Anyone watching on YouTube with that hand symbol. I keep forgetting that this is a podcast as well. I've done so many gestures and hand symbols. Guys, go watch. I'm much more better in person. Don't just listen to my voice, honestly.
I love it.
Yeah, anyway.
And with that note, I will say this will be my last question of just, and this is not a throwaway question, and maybe I'm seeking something, I don't know. No, but we talked a lot about everything, but definitely D&D. Well, no, I loved it. This is the shit that I crave, okay? Like, small talk is rough for me, but deep dive topics get me in there.
Dude.
But truly, this is something that I'm curious about personally, because we've talked a lot about D&D, and for a lot of people, D&D is the umbrella, but it's actually tabletop games, and then D&D is under that.
Yes.
Would there be other games, other tabletops that you might want to play? I don't know. Is there some you're thinking about?
Right. I will be 100% honest. I don't know a lot of it. Like, I think that is the thing, because you get exposed to D&D because it's out there. Like, and I didn't know, it wasn't always, but like, it's the one, right? Like, it's a bit like how Kleenex is tissues to me. Right. Like, D&D is TTRPG because they took the branding and they ran with it, and they're pretty good at it. Like the advertising kind of monopoly kind of thing. But saying that, I played Pathfinder 2e the other day.
Oh, really?
I went to a live session. Yeah. And oh my god, it's actually better than D&D. Don't tell anyone. I mean, as a player, not as a DM, I would not want to DM that shit. It looks really complicated because I think there's a lot more you have to kind of have in your brain. But as a player, the action economy and stuff was so much better. Right. Like we played, it was just like a little kobold thing. So like everyone, I didn't get to pick my class or play into any of that and work out the character creation, which we all know is my favorite part anyway. But I really enjoyed the game. Actually, it was a lot of fun. And yeah, like I said, I think for me it's the action economy. I've never really understood D&D's logic between action and bonus action and how they weight what's a bonus action, what's an action, because I never think it fully makes sense. And I love the way, if anyone doesn't know who's listening, Pathfinder 2e just basically gives you 3 action points and then things are assigned a certain number of actions, but you get to make the choice. Like, you don't have to move every turn if you want to do stuff, and you don't lose things just because you don't move. And like, it's a very clever way of doing it to make sure that people always feel like they're, you know, utilizing their full capacity. And I think especially for people, you know, the classes that don't always do a lot, like, or that just fireball, or like warlocks, I imagine, who are just like Eldritch Blasters, but yeah, that's me, that's my job. Yeah, exactly. I imagine they would feel probably a lot more power from the system of 2e because, like I say, the action economy is a lot better. Also, Daggerheart, obviously, have watched a lot of Daggerheart. Again, Critical Role, obviously, starting to watch some new ones, but I just don't have the time right now. But I love the idea of Daggerheart. I think it's a very clever system. I think their character creation in that really makes sense. I love the ideas they've got behind that. But, and again, it doesn't surprise me. Obviously, it comes from the people who know how to tell a story. Because I feel like, again, with TTRPGs, there is, from what I do know, there are the ones that are set up for roleplay. Like, there are the ones that are set up and make you tell a story, and then there are ones that are fun fighter games where you get to go in and, you know, beat the shit out of someone. And I know they're all role-playing games, but there is a level to how deep the roleplay and how deep the combat is, right? Like, there's a switch between them. To me, Daggerheart feels like the story is linked to the combat, and the story is linked to everything. The way that you've got the experiences that you can use, the way you've got all that, I think it really gave you and the player so much autonomy in your character creation and so much like power over you deciding that, yeah, I've been fighting my whole life, so I absolutely, if I want to, can throw an extra bit of weight behind my punch because I've got that experience of like bar brawling or whatever, without having it to be a doctored feat that has to make sense. You're just like, no, this is my experience of my character. This is what she did. Because I feel like D&D really brushes over it. I feel like you can choose as a character to really care about your backstory and what happened before you got there. But I feel like D&D as a whole doesn't care. Right. Like, it's not in the character creation. Do you know what I mean? Like, realistically, there's one section in background on D&D, really? And it's like, you're like an urchin. And okay, yeah, you grew up in the poor and you don't get shit for it. Or you're a guild master. Okay, so yeah, you can speak to other guilds. That's great. But like, there's not enough weight in it. Do you know what I mean? Even when you pick like your flaws and stuff in D&D, I always think it's funny that there isn't anything consequence-wise to that. Yeah. Like, I've just created a character. She's a cleric. She watched her whole family die. It's quite tragic, bless her. But her major flaw is if anyone goes down, like on the floor, she will just fuck everything off to go bring them back. Because she doesn't want to ever watch another person die, right? So she will just like run through a fire to go get them. Okay. Yeah. Now I, as a character, know that like she's, and it did literally get killed the other day, but she came back. It's fine. But anyway, so okay. Oh, honestly, yeah, whole thing. Yeah, but it is a realistic flaw. Like she's a nobody. Her whole family died. She prayed to a god in the moment to be like, help me save them. The god gave her powers, but it wasn't enough power to bring them back because they were all dead. So she's now decided that no matter what happens, no one else she cares about will ever die again. That's her like whole goal mission in life, to the point that it's put blinders on her that if shit's going down and someone drops, she's just going to be like, gotta get to them, gotta save them.
I'm being actively sad, let me get there.
But in D&D there's no mechanically anything for that flaw. It's 100% me, which is great, but I would love the idea of, rather than me having to say, oh, I give disadvantage to myself because I'm distracted by someone dying, that you could choose on the character sheets and in the mechanic and in the creation that she has disadvantage in these situations, and it would just like, you know, it would already like exist. And I guess that's kind of what experience is for me. The only thing I would say for Daggerheart is they should give a negative experience. They should give bad things that give you a -1 and a -2 that the DM gets to use against you. Like, that would be my one suggestion to Matt Mercer and to the team, because it's not just Matt anymore. But, like, put in the backside of that, because you don't just get positives from having lived a life. There is a downside to, you know, Critical Role. Again, I mentioned it a lot, but it's my fave. But Mighty Nine, anyone who's seen it knows that Caleb kills anyone by fire has a negative consequence. That Matt Mercer put in, that wasn't on a D&D sheet anywhere. There's no tick box for that. But in Daggerheart, he should have a negative experience that if he ever uses a fire spell, -1 on his rolls or something. Do you know what I mean?
I do. So and I don't know how much you've looked into it, but like the way that they do the deaths, or if you're down HP and armor, and so you can accept a scar, you can accept, you know, or you do a dice roll, like that was one of my favorite things that they added in that system. That was such, I love the epicness of that part. So good. Giving a player the power to decide how impactful their death is such a cool mechanic. I love it. Like, for you to be able to choose that, yes, it is the right time for my character to die. Because I think it's interesting when you have conversations with DMs at Session 0, which, again, we should all have. GMs, any gameplay, any TTRPG, you should have a session. Even if it's a one-on-one, you can't get the whole group together, you should still at least talk about it. But you always have the death conversation, right? Can my character die? Am I comfortable with my character dying? But that tends to become a hard and fast thing where you're all like, yes, I'm fine with character death. But like, you look at the example of me, I was in session 1 and my cleric dropped to 0 hit points and then was about to be critted on the floor and die, right? Like, death saving throws gone. And in Daggerheart, she would have the option to stabilize herself and have a scar, which would have made sense story-wise, because there's no way she should have died in that moment. Like, I have a whole story for her to tell. Like, she's not supposed to go out in session 1. But in D&D, it's like, well, if she fails a death saving, she's gone. Done. Like, it's that simple in D&D. And like, also, because of who she is as a character, at a later point when she dies, she absolutely would blaze of glory to save everyone else, because that is the whole mechanic as a person, that she would risk everything
if it meant she could save everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That is literally a whole thing. So the fact that you wouldn't have to like whisper the DM every time and be like, yeah, I'm ready for her to die this time, but can I do something cool? Like instead it's built into the game. It's a conversation, and I could be like at the start, well, 100%, I don't want him to die. I don't want him to die. Okay, now she'd be willing to risk dying because it means more. Okay, now she definitely would go out and she'd take everyone else with her. Like there is a progression to that in your character, and the fact that Daggerheart gave you the progression is great. And also like it's also fun for like characters. Some players are just dicks and think it's funny for their player to die.
Yes.
Like, do you know what I mean? Or to, like you say, the lone wolves who are like, yeah, they would totally die, but try and save everyone because, you know, they feel like their story's complete now. Sorry, I don't like lone wolves either. But
I know
like,
people couldn't see it, but I was eye rolling. Yep.
Yeah, they would blaze of glory every session, which could get annoying, but also their character dies. Bye, see you later. Like they don't get to be saved by a cleric, they don't get to be revived, they don't. No, yeah, if you would, because I think D&D as well sort of is too forgiving on death. It's like, yeah, you can die in a really dramatic moment, but as long as you get to 2 death saves and there's someone around, you can come back. Like, and it's not an active choice. It's just like, oh, well, they've killed all the bad guys. You were bleeding to death on the floor, but we're out of combat now, so you're alive. Well done.
Yeah, wait a minute. And it's actually a gravitas to it.
Yes.
Completely. Yeah.
I mean, obviously good DMs, but also in the middle of combat, it is really hard to focus in on that player dying. Whereas you are literally, like, I've been there, and you just literally say, oh, death saving throw, okay, great, and then you move on, because you are in the middle of combat. You're trying to run 5 enemies, you've got 4 players at the table, you're trying to do your best to keep the combat moving fast, you don't want to slow it down. Whereas Daggerheart kind of forces you to acknowledge what is happening. Yeah. Their character is dead and potentially dead, and you need to give that moment this, because there's a bit in Umbra, whatever it is, that Umbra, no spoilers, you haven't seen it series, no. Yeah, you haven't seen it, have you? Okay, no spoilers. There's a bit in that that I would happily discuss with you about this topic, but I cannot.
Oh, no, we have to talk again. Please, God, no.
No. When you finally watch it, if you're anything like me, who's still trying to catch up with Campaign 4, and also then the TV series that have come out. Jesus Christ, guys. Too much content. Has anyone ever told anyone that? There's just too much available in the world. If you, I mean, it doesn't help that I spend like 3 hours watching Magic the Gathering.
Honestly, though, I love this for us. I love it. And just, really, I do, because there's just a freedom of choice there of how you, again, how you want to spend your time and how you value your time. What? Suze.
I love that how this was meant to be all about storytelling. Instead, this is like, guys, put your time, value it.
No, but it truly, to me, and again, this is the autism, but truly, to me, that is the crux of storytelling, is everything we talked about, from listening to empathy to having a collaborative experience, giving gravitas where it needs to be, and truly valuing your own time and how you want to spend it. Because even if storytelling, it is for me too, as escapism, because I also had a horrible childhood, like, stories are the way to bring myself joy, to also connect with other people, and to give me a reason to care, truly. Like, that's a little too deep, sorry. But, like, truly to give myself purpose and keep moving is the stories and the things that I can do to help people also achieve that. Like, that's truly what it is. And from talking for the last hour and a half, like, that is exactly what I get from you. No, and the thing is, like, I wanted to, and that's why I was like, when you're like, we're gonna keep talking about, okay, let's go, like, literally, this, I will tell you, this experience with the podcast thus far and talking with everybody has been exactly what I was hoping for, and way better. And that's a true testament to everything we even just talked about, of collaboration, listening, getting to deep dive and talk about things that we don't get the chance to in Twitch chats and things of that nature. And legitimately, this has been the fucking best for me. Like, it's been so nice. So thank you, Suze, so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And don't get me wrong, we're doing
welcome.
Like it was so funny when I talked to Dogless Airbender. She was like, when we do this again, I was like, okay, nope, we're doing this again. I was like, all right. There wasn't an if there, it was a when, and I was like,
yeah, no, when.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, wait, this isn't. This I thought this is like 8 episodes with me. right? And then
no,
you're doing
totally.
another.
Okay, more episodes. No, but literally, like, it just cracked me up because I was like, oh, like, it shows me that people are having fun and accomplishing, again, what I was hoping for and way more, you know? Like, I was hoping that it would be a comfortable space to talk about things and actually get to know each other and then be able to see the logic and thought behind the things that we see in a small little window of a Twitch stream. You know, yeah.
I would like to say that I think for me the art of an intelligent but interesting, but like the art of a beautiful conversation is dying, and I think it's so great to have the opportunity to kind of force ourselves to sit down and have it. And to allow your mind to run in places and allow other people to come with you on that journey. And like, it's not something we as people get to do very often. Like, obviously, again, with the people closed in your life, you do that, you actively, but with strangers, you know, like, it's not something we get to do. And we're not strangers, but we're also not really close. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's it's just, people are so interesting. And I think we forget that. And like you said, you drown out the voices and the noise and the world, and you see the big picture, and you forget that just sit for a while and talk to one person for an hour, and you will have like the best time. Like, just because people are so bloody interesting. Like, you never know. You like, do you know what I mean? And that's what. Like, it's been 100%. I get why Doug was like, when we do this again, because even if you didn't record it, like, I think forcing people to be like, this is the time we're gonna do it. Like, come meet me at 11 o'clock on a Friday night or 10 o'clock. We're gonna give ourselves an hour and we're just gonna talk shit. I mean, this isn't late for me, I don't sleep. But we're just gonna talk, and like, it's just it's a rare gift. So you should be very proud of yourself for giving it to people, because it means a lot. And also, I hope people listening to us talk shit would go away and be like, I'm going to do that. And just grab a friend or grab a stranger and would, pick a topic and just talk for an hour. Because look how interesting and varied we got. Like, literally were like, let's talk about storytelling because you've started DMing. Like, yeah, sure, okay. Politics, religion, self-evaluation, reflection, active listening. Like, yeah, dude, because people just want it. Yeah, we're interesting. Like, I know I'm bigging myself up, but I don't care. I'm interested.
You should. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not joking.
But yeah, if people were to take anything away from us today, I hope it would be to go have a conversation with someone else. Go tell a story with someone else.
Yeah, and let them tell you their story. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I know it feels like a little bit, maybe potentially it feels like this, but that we didn't hit on it, but we absolutely did. 100% in my mind. It's there. But anyway. We did. We just also went off on every tangent known to man because that's who both of our brains are. So. Is, like
true. We
not everything has to serve the main plot. Writers, not everything has to serve the main plot. But
in fact, it's better when it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, wait, what? Oh my gosh. But legitimately, thank you so much for kicking off this passion project with me. Like, it's been, again, everything that I've wanted and thought I wanted, and then so much better. It's been great. For these episodes, they're going to be in like March, April time. So if you want, I was going to give you a moment to talk about things maybe coming up. If you have anything, I don't know if WWF, that's not words.
Yeah.
WWF is coming, but anything.
So depending when this airs, and if me and Torin are smart about this, this will air at the appropriate time. Twitch 2020, Twitch for WWF 2026 will be happening. I don't know what it'll look like, but it will be happening. It normally happens in March and April. Basically, we get a group of streamers, friends, together and raise money for an amazing cause for the animals. We save the animals. We have, in the 3 years we've been doing it, raised close to $25,000, I believe. I'd have to check that number, but it's been crazy. We had one particularly crazy year that was insane, but they've always been relatively crazy years. And yeah, it's a cool group of people. So if this happens to air and that is coming up or going around, I'm sure Torin will let you know in the links and the things down there. You can click the things, but also generally speaking, if you hang out in my stream at some point, there'll be a charity event, so come support it, because yeah, we're big on the charity. I'm very close to my personal goal of $25,000, so
nice,
fingers crossed by the end of the year we will have smashed that. So 2026 hopefully will bring more.
So
and
if you're watching,
that's me
and or listening, just go help Suze get that goal. Just saying.
Come by, give $1 to a charity and leave again. That's fine.
Yeah, and tell your story. Make sure. No, I'm kidding. But legitimately.
Come in and be like, I am here to tell you my story, and I will listen. I will. The first 5 people, I'll be weirded out to hell, but then after that.
Because legitimately, that shit happens, and I'm like, I'm in it to win it. Tell me everything. And I'm like, that might be a weird response. Anyway.
Let's go.
It. But yes, again, thank you so much, Suze. You have no idea how happy I am. It makes me very, very happy. It just joyful that we have people that want to talk to me. But anyway, please check out Suze on their Twitch stream when they are live. That is twitch.tv BritishSimerTime. Please do that, because I messed it up for years. Don't worry about it. But also there are links to where their content can be found, like on YouTube and things of that nature. So for now, please cozy up and take care of yourself the best that you can. And in the words of Tigger, ETFN, Torin Talks for now. Bye. I thought you'd appreciate that.
That's so cute!
So let's deep dive on Torin Talks.